So I wanted to come back in April and do some storytelling for you guys, because I had this realization one day. I was pouring out my breakfast of champions, nice cup of coffee, bowl of Girl Scout cookies, and a Guinness. You know, because you're an adult, you don't do drugs anymore to, have fun, you do them to get by. And I was thinking of putting some sugar in my coffee, and it hit me right then. Sugar is a fine white powder. Let me say that a little bit louder. Sugar is a fine white powder. Let me say that a little louder. Sugar is a fine white powder, and just like crack and smack, it's all wrapped up in money and power. Coke comes from leaves and opium from flowers, but the granddaddy of the fine white powders is made from beets and cane. Sorry, rain down the street. Out of breath. People hear the word drugs, they usually think of gangs. They think of cold-blooded killers with Latin last names and selling PCP, LSD, and Mary Jane, and moving meth, ecstasy, and crack cocaine. People hear the word drugs, they think shackles, jails, and chains. They think suffering and pain. They think blood money, backstabbing, innocent slain, but there's no such stigma attached to sugarcane. There ain't no shame affixed to this fix, so even little kids get lit. They sit and take rips off their pixie sticks, so no one sees a problem with this, because this is a fix that we all crave. And we are not ashamed, although we know it was built on the backs of black slaves. So I tell y'all that sugar is a fine white powder, and I want it to ring in your brains a little bit louder, because its story is the same as what's shot in the veins or shot up the nose to get straight at the brain. I'm talking blood money, backstabbing, innocent slain. I'm talking suffering and pain. I'm talking shackles, jails, and chains. I'm talking headless and dismembered remains, little women and children bagging up product and counting out change, and the killers deranged who run the whole game and who teach kids to kill for material gain. And the craziest thing about it is all these facts are already in your brain. They've just been sanitized like bloodstains wash down shower drains, so only the cold, boring facts remain. You sat in little rows, frustrated, but well-trained, and normalized this in the first grade with the phrase triangle trade. Sugar for rum for slaves. Europeans ruled the waves and got money and power off of little grains of white powder. So I tell y'all that sugar is a fine white powder, and I want it to ring in your brains a little bit louder, because the foundation of our nation, the Independence Declaration, was signed by kingpins who ran drug plantations. So fast forward just a few generations to the days when radio stations sing the praises of criminal organizations, and the biggest drug dealers are legally chartered corporations, and on both sides of the law, it's all about location, location, location. It doesn't matter if the battles are fought in courts over end caps instead of blocks, like the people who pack the gats are called cops. It's still cash crops to define the lines between the haves and the have-nots. Y'all are just too high on sugar to call them crimes when they're committed by the criminal minds on top. Because none of this history is shrouded in mystery. When the founding fathers sat and authored history, they wrote it as a toast to those who could rip the most from Africa's coast and put them to the yoke on plantations of white powder to fund the guns of white power. So I tell y'all that sugar is a fine white powder, and I want you to spread the word, because knowledge is power.